cyberspace astronauts. Are you ready to be entertained with pointless jibber-jabber and senseless small talk? If so, then you have come to the right place. It's the Todd Cook Show, starring Todd Cook, and featuring music by local and national artists. Now, broadcasting from his garage, here is Todd Cook.
Hello, all you cyberspace astronauts. That's right. I'm kicking it old school. I am here. You are here. I am talking. You are listening. This is the Todd Cook Show. I am Todd Cook. Thank you very much for tuning in to listen to my podcast today. This is episode 2-7. That's season 2, episode 7 of the Todd Cook Show. And I am thrilled that you have decided to join me. I got a great show, but don't I always deliver a great program to you? There are a lot of podcasters out there that on occasion will give you some crap. There are other podcasters out there who will very consistently give you a crappy show, but not here. Every episode I do is 100% fantastic, or at least I think so. And I think those out there that are listening must think so too, or they would not keep listening. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me today. And once again, I got another fantastic show for you. I'm going to talk about the 4th of July and how that's kind of a man's holiday. Should be pretty funny. You want to stay tuned and listen to that. I'm also going to take a little time to talk about convertibles. You know, those cars that don't have roofs on them that so many people seem to like. I think they're ridiculous. I don't like them. I'm going to explain that to you in a short while. I got some music by Jeremiah Johnson. I played him before. Going to play him again. Nice little acoustic song. I'll go ahead and give you the title of it right now. It's called You Forgot to Say Goodbye, and that's coming up towards the end of the program. And I'm also going to talk about a long road trip that I have planned for me and my wife and my 2 boys coming up. And it's coming up real soon, about the 3 weeks, about the 4 weeks, I guess 3 weeks. Yeah, it's coming up. We're getting ready for that, and I'm going to tell you about that and how I'm not necessarily looking forward to the traveling time, but I will enjoy myself once I get there. So let's get started. I almost forgot. TheToddCookShow@gmail.com is my email address. TheToddCookShow@gmail.com. Write me an email. Ask me a question, and I'll answer that question for you. Also, you can listen to this program on iTunes, or you can listen to this program at www.thetoddcookshow. No, let's start over. www.youtube.com/thetoddcookshow. I told everybody on my last program how much I hate the letter W, and right there was one of the examples of why I hate the letter W, because as I was getting out those 3 wwws, I lost my train of thought there and gave the wrong email or the wrong web address. But youtube.com/The Todd Cook Show, or look me up in the podcast section of iTunes as well. Let's get started on this show. Every other holiday out there, except for the 4th of July, I think is mostly for women. Maybe Halloween, if you want to call that a holiday. It's a little more geared towards men. I think men like, dressing up like, some crazy alien or whatever and getting candy. I think men are okay with that. But most of the holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, I think women tend to get into those holidays a little bit more than men do, but not the 4th of July. The 4th of July is the manliest of all manly holidays. And let me explain why. On Thanksgiving time, men complain a lot about every other holiday. On Thanksgiving, if you have plans to go visit family somewhere, the men are always complaining, do we really have to go that far? Can we meet them halfway? Maybe they'll come to us this year. I really don't want to travel that far. I'm not looking forward to it. We whine about that. And then the expenses that arise because of the holidays, buying the food and whatever you might need. Thanksgiving time, isn't ham, isn't that cheaper than turkey? I like ham better than turkey. We don't like spending the money. Another thing, how about frozen apple pie instead of making the homemade pie? These are things that men typically complain about. Not necessarily me, but men definitely complain about these sorts of things. They want to save time. They want to save money. They don't want to go all out for these holidays. And then on Thanksgiving, we want to watch football. That's really all we want to do on Thanksgiving, when everybody else is sitting around the table eating and talking about their jobs or their lives or their kids or their in-laws or whatever it is they might be talking about. Men would rather just sit around and watch football. And we get to do that. Most of us do. But to some extent, we are made to feel a little guilty about that. So we're not really big into, the Thanksgiving. And then Christmas, do we have to send everybody a Christmas card? Can we just send immediate family Christmas cards? Do we have to send it to everybody? And again, with the food, do we have to spend all this money on all this food? Do we have to buy a present for that person? I don't even know them that well. I haven't seen them in over a year. Haven't seen them since last Christmas. They haven't seen me since last Christmas. They didn't buy me a present last year. Why should I have to buy them a present? So it's all about, the time and the effort and the money. What are some other things? There's just a lot of complaints. Easter comes around. Do we have to decorate all these eggs for the kids? Can't we just do like 10 eggs? We only got 2 kids. Each of them find 5 eggs. Isn't that enough? So there's a lot of complaining with the different holidays, but not the 4th of July. The 4th of July, for some reason, men don't seem to mind all of the preparation and the money that we have to spend and the time. We don't mind at all. And why is that? Because it's fireworks. It's fire. It's explosions. It's loud noises. It's outside. You can't be outside a lot of times for Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's too cold. I used to live in Indiana. Now I live in Kansas. Same both ways. You never know what the weather's going to be like. And 4th of July around actually can be pretty hot, but it's usually after dark. So even when it's 100, and 5 degrees during the day, by the time the sun goes down and the sun's not beating down on yet, it's actually fairly tolerable. Excuse me. So we like the 4th of July. We go to the fireworks stand and we see, the fireworks there, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll get some of this right here, this pack. And your wife will look at it and say, that's $50. Yeah, it's the 4th of July though. It only comes once a year. So let's go ahead and buy 2 of these things right here. You can never get too many fireworks. And then we got to go to the grocery store. We got to get hamburgers and we got to get hot dogs, and we got to get potato chips and potato salad and macaroni salad, and we got to get all the drinks and dessert, and we need some ice cream, and we need this and that. And we don't mind at all. In fact, with Christmas and Thanksgiving, if the family's coming to us, we're like, oh, is all these people coming over? The house is going to be full. We don't have that big of a house. It's going to be crowded. But on 4th of July, we're saying, let's invite the neighbors over. Let's get some people that we don't even know that live across the street. Let's go over there and let's invite them over. We got some fireworks over here. Come over here. Yeah. Come watch me light these fireworks. Come watch me blow up this rotten apple. Watch me blow up this orange. Watch me stick a firecracker underneath this can and it fly in the air. So it's like this crazy thing that men just seem to love is the 4th of July. And another thing, crazy thing that we'll do, we'll give a lighter to our 6-year-old, and our wife will say, "You really think he should have that? He's only 6. It's the 4th of July. Go ahead, he'll be fine. Just hold it down there, Johnny. Hold the flame right up real close to that. But as soon as you see it light, take off and run." So 4th of July, it's a man's holiday, and we all seem to like it. It's fire, it's explosions, it's being outside, it's the barbecue. What guy doesn't like being out in the back patio or in the backyard with the grill going and, sipping on a nice beverage and, watching the kids run around with their sparklers and the dog, barking and all the neighbors, laughing and having a good time. It's the 4th of July, the man's holiday. Women, you get all the other holidays, but the 4th of July, Independence Day, it's a man's holiday. And don't you forget it. I'll be back in just a short moment. Don't go away. You're listening to The Todd Cook Show. Hi, Todd Cook here. Do you like going out on Friday or Saturday nights for some supper and live music, but you're not into the bar scene? Because let's face it, when the alcohol starts to flow, those places can get a little loud and a bit rowdy. sometimes to the point that it becomes difficult for you to enjoy your food or the music. Do you wish that there was a place that had good food, good music, but a less distracting atmosphere? A place that you can enjoy the food and the music but still get home at a decent hour? Well, that place does exist, and it's right here in Wichita on the corner of Douglas and Hillside, or 110 South Hillside to be exact. It's called The Kiln. They have live music every Friday and Saturday night starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 9. The Kiln is a Christian-ran, non-alcoholic establishment that operates solely on donations. And they always have great food and great entertainment. And one of the best parts, you don't need a babysitter. You can bring the kids with you. So for more information, contact Mike through the Facebook page. The Kiln, K-I-L-N, and be sure to check it out yourself this Friday or Saturday night, 110 South Hillside, corner of Douglas and Hillside in Wichita. The Kiln, where they are always glad you came. Okay, the Todd Cook Show is back, and I am Todd Cook. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com is my email address. The Todd Cook Show at gmail.com. Now, the next part of this program, segment 2, if you will, I'm going to tell you about a little road trip that my sisters took, and actually more specifically about the vehicle that they drove. And I'm not going to give you the details of where they were going or how far they drove or nothing like that, but I just want to let you guys know that they drove at least for a part of they drove the entire time with a convertible, and at least a good portion of that time they had the top down on that convertible. And I'm here to tell you today that I do not like convertibles. I never have, and I never will, and you shouldn't either. If you have a desire to have a convertible, or if you like convertibles, maybe you have one already, you love it, something's wrong with you, okay? And I've got a few pet peeves in my life. I got a few pet peeves out there, and I talked about how I don't like ice cream cones, and I'm not real big into swimming pools, and a few other things. I can't remember exactly what they were right now. But convertibles are one of those that's pretty high on my list of things that I don't really like, and I don't understand why other people like them. If you take the time to think this through, I think you should agree with me, and you'll agree. I do like convertibles, but it's obviously because something's wrong in my brain. And let me explain. I don't want to delay any longer, so I'll just get right to it here. When I see a convertible, I don't say, wow, look at that, they're in a convertible. I say, holy cow, those people are driving a car that doesn't have a roof. The roof is missing. Cars should have roofs on it. That one's missing a roof. Who would drive a car that doesn't have a roof on it? It's almost, like driving a car that doesn't have a hood on it or something. The roof is even more important. And let me explain. It's all about the wind, okay? The wind. When you're driving down a highway, and my sisters were driving down an interstate, they might have been going 65, 70, whatever the speed limit is, and I'm sure they would never go even half a mile per hour over the speed limit. So they were driving the speed limit. Let's say it was 70 miles per hour on an interstate. And that means that there was a 70-mile-an-hour wind blowing into the car. There's nothing good about a 70-mile-an-hour wind. There's nothing good about a 55-mile-an-hour wind. I barely like it when it's 20-mile-an-hour wind can be a bit breezy at times. But here's a 70-mile-an-hour wind blowing into the car. And what do people with convertibles say? Oh, yeah, it's a feeling of freedom. And then, quote, I love the feeling of the wind blowing through my hair. Really? Well, let me go through this little idea, and let's see if it is legit at all. Let's see if it has any merit. Because just a few days ago, here in Wichita, we had a storm come through. And we had winds of 70 miles per hour. Wind gusts of 70 miles per hour, and it was really windy. In fact, it might have been the windiest I had ever seen it without a threat of a tornado. Whenever there's a tornado in the area, of course, the winds could get up to 70 miles an hour easy. But this, with the way the storm was or whatever, I don't know why, but there was really no threat of a tornado. It's just really high winds, 70 miles per hour. And I did not see one person in my neighborhood standing outside in the wind and saying, oh, I love the way that wind feels going through my hair. No, they all ran inside and got out of the wind. which is what the right thing they should do, which is what people in convertibles should do when they're going down the road and a 70-mile-an-hour wind is coming at them and surrounding them. They should put the roof up, put the top up. That's a wonderful thing about cars, no more horse and buggies. They got cars that have roofs on them. You can go really fast, but it be even more comfort than you would ever have been in a wagon back in the old days. A 70-mile-an-hour wind is not, ooh, I love the feel of wind in my hair. That's a wind whipping around and blowing in your ear. And another problem with it is it makes it hard to hear. It's loud. It's very loud. You get the birds pooping and the bugs coming in the car, and it just could be really messy. But the noise is one of the biggest problems, I think. You'll be driving down the road and like, is this the exit I need to take? No, I think it's the next exit. Are you sure? Because I think last time we came here, it was this exit. And the wind's whipping around, and you're yelling. You got to turn the stereo up really loud if you want to hear any music. And if you got any loose paper or anything going around, you got the map, and you try to look at the map, and it's going to be blowing around. I guess nowadays everybody has, an iPad or a laptop or something. But even then, what if that blows out of your hand and it's gone? And people, lose hats. I see hats all the time along the side of the road. How does that happen? Well, either they're riding a motorcycle or they're in a convertible. If you don't want to lose your hat, keep the roof down. I keep calling it roof. I guess if you have a convertible and you're a convertible lover, you call it the top, but it's the roof. Keep the roof down, or else you lose your hats. And so that's one of the biggest problems is the noise. But there's nowhere in the world, I don't care if you're in a car or on your back patio or wherever you might be, if there's a 70-mile-an-hour wind, that cannot be pleasant. It is not pleasant. If you're on your patio, on your front porch, out on the beach, out shopping, whatever you're doing, and there's a 70-mile-an-hour wind, you would run to get inside. So don't sit there in that convertible and tell me that you enjoy that wind, because you can't. It's not possible. Think it through, folks. So if you have a love of convertibles, it's time for you to reevaluate that love and understand that maybe it's a mental problem with you. There's a mental weakness going on. I can't even go around the block in our car, more than a couple miles with the windows down. It starts bugging me. How can you drive down a road at highway speeds without a roof? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I was thinking though, but maybe with I like to drive. When I drive, I like it to be nice and quiet and peaceful. I like to be able to hear my own thoughts. But I come think about it, I very rarely ever get that because I got kids in the back and they're probably just as noisy as the wind is. But maybe if I get a convertible, maybe the sound of the wind and all the commotion going on will, and having the open air and not being in such an enclosed environment, so you get the open space and all the wind noise. Maybe that would make the noises that my kids make a little less intrusive. So maybe someday I'll look into getting that convertible. I'll trade the kids' noise for some wind noise. All right, let's play a song now. I'm going to play a song by Jeremiah Johnson. You can look him up on iTunes. Jeremiah Johnson, and Johnson is just spelled S-E-N, not S-O-N, as you might think. Jeremiah Johnson with an S-E-N at the end. This song is called You Forgot to Say Goodbye on the Todd Cook Show.
I got what I deserve. say goodbye. You forgot to say goodbye. Bye, yeah. You forgot to say goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Jeremiah Johnson with You Forgot to Say Goodbye. Look him up on iTunes. Jeremiah Johnson, S-E-N, not S-O-N. That song was brought to you by B&B Towing. Call Cheyenne Brown at B&B Towing for all your towing needs. This is for you folks in the Wichita area, of course. Cheyenne Brown, 316-214-4021. If you need a tow, if you need a jump start, a winch out, if you've been locked out of your vehicle and need to get in, if you ran out of gas and need somebody to deliver some gasoline to you, if you have an old clunker car, and who of us out there has never had a clunker car at some point in our lives and need to get rid of that car, call Cheyenne Brown at B&B Towing and he will come and help you with that. 316-214-4021. In fact, another little thing that he can help people with is if you need to move a shed. I saw on Facebook just the other day where he helped somebody move a shed. Just pulled it right up on the back of his truck and drove it across town and laid it down somewhere else. So he can do it all. He's a 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force. B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. Don't go anywhere. The Todd Cook Show will be back before you know it.
Hi, everybody. Do you live in the Wichita area? Are you looking for a great place for lunch or dinner? Do you love live acoustic music but don't know where to go? Try the Artichoke Sandwich Bar. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and it is a fantastic place to eat and listen to live music. It is located on the corner of Broadway and Murdoch in Wichita, and what goes better with a sandwich than a cold beer? So look up the Artichoke Bar on Facebook today to find out when they are opened and what musical artist is performing next. They just celebrated their 30th year in business, so you know they're doing something right. The Artichoke Sandwich Bar, 811 North Broadway, Wichita, Kansas, where everything is okie dokie artichoke.
Whoops. It's been a while since I've done that. I didn't mean to play that. I meant to play this. This is called rejoiner music. It's number 8 on my little keyboard here. And instead I push number 7 and start playing that same commercial again. We got one more segment of the Todd Cook Show coming up right now, so you don't want to miss this last segment. If you listen to this much, you might as well listen to the rest. I can't believe I made that mistake. Pushed the wrong button. It's been a little while since I've done that, but that's okay. Mistakes happen sometime. Let's go on to the last segment of this show. I want to tell you about a road trip that I have planned coming up in about 3 weeks and how I'm not really looking forward to it. I've never liked going on long road trips. My butt gets kind of sore, and I have trouble. Hold on just a second. I'm having some technical difficulties here. Let's see if I can figure this out. There we go. Got it. The problem with long road trips, mostly, especially when I'm driving or sitting in the front seat, number one, I can't sleep in a car. I know some people out there have no problem sleeping whatsoever. I cannot sleep in a car. The only way I can sleep in a vehicle would be, one, I'd have to be extremely exhausted, and B, I'd have to be able to get into some kind of a horizontal position and not recline back in a seat. I'm in completely stretched out horizontal position, and you're not going to do that in a car. You're going to have to have at the very least a van before you can lay down completely. So I can't sleep. So that's one of the biggest problems I have. But the other problems I have is my butt goes to sleep a lot, and I'm sure everybody else has the same problem. You'll be driving along, kind of leaning on your right butt cheek, and it starts to fall asleep. And so you lean over to your left butt cheek, and you go a little while, and then at some point your left butt cheek starts to fall asleep. But then you got a problem, because right about the time your left butt cheek starts to fall asleep, your right butt cheek starts to wake up, and that can be even more uncomfortable than having a butt cheek that's going to sleep. One that's waking up, coming out of there and getting all tingly and hurting. So now you got one butt cheek that's asleep and the other one that's starting to wake up, and you have nowhere to sit at all to where you can be comfortable. So, driving a long ways is just never really been that fun. So I don't like long road trips very much. And having kids in the back as well make it kind of tough at times. But this year, I think we got a little bit of a strategy. We've had long trips before where I don't know if we've ever had a laptop available to us on our any of the long trips we've taken before in the past. We just recently got some laptops, so that should help. We did have a DVD player that Johnny could watch movies, but now having a laptop should help quite a bit. When he's at home, we normally try to restrict his time on the computer. If we let him, he'd stay on there all day. There's a video game he likes to play, and these other videos he likes to watch, and he would stay on there all day if we let him. But we try to restrict it, and sometimes we're at home, we're like, geez, Johnny, you've been on there over an hour now. It's time to get off. But I think on the road trip, if he's back there and he's being quiet, we'll look back at me and my wife will look at each other and say, he's been on that computer for 3 hours. And they give each other a high five. Yeah. And he's been quiet the entire time. So I don't think we'll have too many restrictions on how long he wants to be on the computer, as long as he's happy and he's not complaining, that he's tired or that Jackson, his brother, took something or whatever the case might be. If he's quiet, shoot, I might let him be on the computer the entire time that we are driving. And that's it, folks. And I'm sure when I come back next time, I'm going to have a few stories about this trip that's coming up, and I'll tell you all about that. It won't be next time. It'll be, about a month from now. I'll be telling you the stories about the trip. But I'm looking forward to it, being able to see my family up in Indiana. I haven't seen them in quite some time, so it should be a lot of fun. Tune in next week, though, and I'll have a brand new show for you. This is the Todd Cook Show. Tune in next week. I'll talk. You listen.